Sushi calls and sweaty balls. This is Scotch Sporting.
Okay, so we have our other deep dive ball, and we'll try and do it as quickly as possible. So the Buffalo Bills were the victim, although as established during our rundown, they for sure could have won that game had they played it differently.
But they didn't need to go to overtime. That was their coaches fucked up huge.
But the NFL overtime rules,
God bless them.
Playoff overtime rules are real silly.
Bless your heart.
Yeah.
So they basically start a new game. They do a coin toss. Who wants to take it? If someone scores a field goal, the other team gets a chance to answer, and then you keep going. But if someone scores on the first possession, a touchdown, it's over.
Or a defensive score. A safety will also end the game.
Or a safety.
Well, because it's switch possessions, so yeah.
So that's what happened. The game went into overtime. They flipped a coin. The Chiefs won. They decided. I don't know who would say no thanks. We don't want to start with
Nobody.
the ball.
No. You never say.
Unless you're Matt Hasselbeck, and then
Want the ball?
Yeah,
we're
given
gonna
the
score.
stats that they put out for
So Mark,
teams winning coin tosses.
Mark, what's
Was
the
it
stat?
enough?
What's the stat for winning the coin toss in the playoffs, and who wins the game?
So with this new overtime rule that they established, the team that wins coin toss is 10-2, and have won on the first drive 7 of those games.
Who were the two that lost? Is one of them a Hasselbeck?
One of them was
No, because that
the
rule,
Rams.
the rule did not exist until
Oh, sorry, the Saints.
or this
Saints
version
Rams
of it.
game.
Yeah, this version of
Yeah.
it didn't exist until Tebow was the first one to win a game.
I think Tebow was the first
Yeah.
year that they had. Yeah.
So
and
you
Tebow.
feel about rules being different for playoffs that aren't the same for the rest of the sport. Like we've talked about this with soccer and the shootout. It's like I don't understand and hockey in the shootout.
If hey, listen,
Not
if
in
the
the
NHL
playoffs.
if the NHL ever switches to the shootout in the playoffs, like it's over. I would never watch another hockey game.
Mayhem.
I
Yeah.
would never watch
Things
another
that
hockey game.
exist in playoffs that don't exist in regular season and vice versa drive me insane.
I'm okay with it because it's different. Like the stakes are different, but yeah, I don't like the other team doesn't even get to touch the ball.
Mhm.
It just doesn't seem right.
And when people say, "Well, the Buffalo defense should have stopped it," I'm like,
Right.
"Well, who's to say that the Kansas City Chiefs defense was going to stop Josh Allen?
Exactly, and
Let's
and
test their defense."
neither team probably would have stopped
No.
the
Exactly, they
offense.
probably-
As we showed in the previous minute and a half,
So
both teams walked down the field, scored
I've
touchdowns.
seen some suggestions. Now, obviously, the CFL and the NCAA overtimes, I think, are the way to do football overtime.
Absolutely.
I think it's great.
I don't understand why the NFL isn't already doing something like that.
Yeah, and when you tell people CFL rules, like, no, we can't do that. Like, well, the NCAA does it.
Yeah.
Go on.
No,
Tell us
no.
about the NCAA rules because I believe you talked about Grey Cup spectacular because unfortunately this is how Hamilton lost.
What? They didn't
The
play.
Grey Cup?
They didn't play a Grey Cup this year.
Oh, okay. Never had
There was no Grey Cup this year. What are you talking
Okay.
about?
Okay, so hypothetically, the one we went, the Ottawa Stampeders one that went into
Yes,
overtime.
that I remember
The
that
one we
game.
went
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
Why don't you tell us about overtime?
So you start on the 35. You already start in field goal range, right?
Yeah.
You start on the 35, and then you just go. And you try to score a touchdown. If you don't score a touchdown, you kick a field goal. And if you score a touchdown, you have to go for 2. So
Best part.
right. So best part. So then you go, and then the other team goes. And then if you're still tied, you go again. And in the regular season, you go twice, and if it's still tied, it's over. In the playoffs, you go until someone wins. It's a shootout in football where everybody gets a turn. And it makes
Wouldn't
sense
it
to
be-
me.
Wouldn't that be fun for fans? Because we get to. What do we love as fans of sports other than scoring?
Right,
Exactly.
They've changed the rules of multiple sports. I'm thinking hockey with the trapezoid bullshit. Like all the rules are to make more scoring in every sport. And wouldn't it be fun to change the rules of the NFL playoffs to make more scoring.
And I
Right.
don't get why they would be against it, because it's already established in the NCAA. It's not like it's a completely foreign concept to them.
Yeah.
Right?
And so I saw an interesting, a different solution. And so rather than changing it as radically as this, you go, first team gets the ball, they score a touchdown, they can only kick a single. They can only go for a single. The second team gets the ball. If they get a touchdown, they can only go for 2.
Well, they have to get a touchdown because they're...
Sure. So they get a touchdown, but then they have to go for 2. No matter what, the game's over.
Ooh, that's interesting.
No matter what, the game's over. Unless
I still like the shootout better.
I guess unless they miss the single and then they also miss the 2-point.
Yeah.
But
See?
I saw one that you guys might have sent it that was just a change to the coin toss. Of you established that at the
I think
beginning.
Dave threw it in there.
yeah.
And I like that. I think it could even be maybe as simple as you do the coin toss at the beginning of the game,
You just
And
just
whatever-
keep that first coin toss.
or whatever you say. So it's Chris and I playing against each other. Chris chooses to receive. That means if we get tied and go into overtime, I receive now.
Oh.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of the jump ball rule in the NCAA basketball, where it's established who gets possession on jump ball, because they don't do an actual jump ball.
Right.
Fuck it. Do the XFL coin toss.
Yeah.
Was that where they just run to
running.
run to
Yeah.
center
Just
field?
run at the football
Yeah.
and try to get the football.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Well, the Chiefs would win. Just send Tyreek Hill,
It's
man. That
true.
guy's a fucking
Exactly.
genius.
Did you see him give the peace sign? And the dude was ahead of him.
Yeah.
It was so good. He's so fucking fast. God damn
Yeah.
it. And what are you
I
leaving Kelsey wide open for?
Oh my
God
god!
damn it.
The Bills.
Chris sounds like a Bills fan.
No, I'm not.
What that happened? Like, what are you doing, letting Travis Kelsey?
They rushed 4. And we're in prevent. Rushed
You know what that
3
sounds like?
and put 1 extra guy on fucking Kelsey.
That sounds like Bucks fans too. How the fuck do you leave Cooper Kupp open?
I mean,
I,
how do you leave Cooper Kupp
Yeah,
open?
how
What
do
are
you
you
leave-
doing?
How,
What are
how do you leave
doing?
Cooper Kupp that open? Like,
What are
he
you
was
doing?
wide open.
at the end of the day, if you had to, like, there's one person that Patrick Mahomes is going to throw to. If it's like gun to his head, who is he going to throw to? And it's
Kelsey.
Travis
It's
Kelsey.
Kelsey all
'Cause he's
day.
coming down with it every time.
every time.
And he's a mismatch in the middle.
Yeah.
An absolute mismatch.
I think we talked about it last podcast about our betting parlays, and I try not to put touchdown scores on it. And I think I said, unless it's Travis Kelsey, because he's scoring.
Yep.
So there are
Yep.
things Buffalo absolutely could have done, but as football fans, and as incredible as those last 2 minutes were, it was tragic not to see Buffalo get a chance to score.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it is. It's absolutely ridiculous that they didn't get a chance. And it almost ruins how good that game was.
It does ruin how good that game was.
It was such a sad trombone ending to what is an incredible game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was still it's still an exciting game. It's still one of the best NFL games I've ever watched.
Well,
hmm
Tyler, soccer goes on forever, right?
But
And
it
nothing
doesn't.
happens. And
With-
nothing
with
happens
kick-
in it.
With the shootouts, with the kicking to the goalie, the penalty kicks. That's the one. The kicking to
Yeah. The penalty kicks.
go on forever. So you watch soccer forever. So
You
you're
could.
watching sports for like 12 hours with no one actually winning.
We did that a couple years ago. Remember that playoff hockey game?
Yeah.
That had another game and had to push all of the other games.
Yeah.
I blame the Bruins' loss on that. Because they were scheduled to play, and then it was like, oh, this one went on. So Tyler, you're used to watching sports forever.
Yeah.
You happily would have sat and watched the Bills answer.
Oh, fuck yeah. And then the Chiefs answer back, and the Bills answer back, and back
Yeah.
and forth
Oh my
until
god, it would have
somebody.
been
Oh, it would have been
145 to 138.
Like I
It would have been great.
You don't want this game to go on for 10 years. I understand that, and advertising and the monies, etc.
No, but like
All of the
athletes get tired, right?
Yeah.
So somebody's gonna screw up, or whatever, and that's gonna help the other team. But the fact that the Bills didn't get the chance to do it hurts the Bills. Everybody gets tired. Like, that's why hockey is so good in the overtime. It's period after period after period after period until somebody scores, and somebody's going to screw up because somebody got tired and didn't want to chase after the puck on their shift. And like, that's most of the goals. So why not football?
Last year player for the year before, when Marchand was tired, came off the bench, and either it was something that he didn't hustle quite enough, and they scored, and the Bruins were out of the playoffs because of that. And it was,
Yeah, as he was going to the bench. Yeah.
they were just fucking bagged.
Remember Alex Kovalev? Remember, this is a long time ago, but he got slashed on the wrist. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
my hand."
my hand!" And then it was the Bruins, right?
It was Habs against Bruins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one I always remember, where he like directly cost
Yeah,
them the
just-
game.
Leaves the puck there. Let the Bruin go in for a
Yeah.
breakaway.
But if
Game
Buffalo,
over.
so the Chiefs scored, and it's like, hey, it's not over yet. Buffalo gets the ball. Buffalo scores. I would keep watching.
Yeah, there's
you'd
no,
be on the edge of your seat the entire overtime.
it could have been the best overtime of all time too, because it could have gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
It would have been the greatest overtime ever because you were actually able to go back and forth, back and forth.
I was gonna say, with some hybrid work of like, if the Chiefs scored a touchdown, they had to go for two.
Just do the NCAA rules.
Just do
It's
it.
not new to
Yeah.
these guys.
Yeah, just do it. Just do
They
the
came with
NCAA.
the college ranks. Yeah, they know it. The American audience knows it. College football's a lot bigger than NFL.
Yeah.
Right?
Like most of the players in the NFL right now have played in the NCAA with these rules already.
Yeah,
So
They're familiar with it. It's not new.
bring it on. And like, yes, go for two. Absolutely.
Is there any
Every time.
Is there any push to get this changed? Like, is this actually going to change? Or are we just fucking old man screaming at cloud right now?
I mean,
Right now, I think we're old man screaming in a cloud.
there
Like,
might be a little bit more juice now just because it did happen to the Chiefs a couple years ago, and it's the Chiefs again. And Andy Reid even said, publicly that it's an unfair way to settle a game.
Yeah.
Right?
Did you
So
hear
more
what,
teams pushed for this, they might get it.
did you hear
But
what
the
he
NFL
said to Mahomes when he went out with 13 seconds left?
No.
He says to him, when times are grim, be the Grim Reaper.
Oh.
I fucking love that quote. I love it so much.
Patrick Mahomes left the team celebration to go comfort Josh Allen.
Did he really?
Because he knew.
Yeah.
He knew. He was in the same.
He went over.
Yeah.
He went straight over to
See,
Josh and gave him a hug.
okay, now
'Cause
I'm
he
okay
knows
with
how bad it was.
now I'm okay with Mahomes going to the Super Bowl again.
Are you sure? Watch his brother again on TikTok.
Nah, I can ignore that. I can ignore that.
Patrick can go, his brother can't.
That's right. He is banned from the stadium.
Like, the NFLPA is incredibly powerful, and I think that's the hurdle, because you're asking the players to play longer.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I think in that instance, they want it though. You
but
don't
there's
want to
no
lose
time.
that way.
But the thing is there's no time if you do this overtime. Time doesn't exist.
Mhm.
There's no time. There's no timeouts. There's no nothing. It's play.
You're asking, like, you're putting your body on the line. You could get hurt. Like, talk about making a mistake.
It's
Nah.
it's for the championship. Like, this is to go to the
Yeah,
next
I would-
round.
my-
I don't
this
care.
This is playoff overtime
I
rules,
would
not regular
say.
season overtime.
I would say regular season over. I would say get rid
Yeah.
of regular season overtime. This would be my thing. Is if the game ends in a tie, it ends in a tie, and then in
Yeah.
the playoffs we do this.
Yeah, you're right. I like it. I don't know. Do we think we're gonna see a change?
No,
Not this season. No, but I think eventually, but not this season.
in a
It'll
couple of
take, it'll
years.
take another high-profile team to lose this way.
I mean the highest level of the minor leagues in baseball is getting robot referees or robot umpires in the on the plates.
happening.
So
Let's go.
we're
Let's go.
we're progressing.
You guys, it's happening.
Let's go.